Same old trouble, villains always knocking at the door. Pretty pictures on the page, but nothing ever stays the same.
Thank you, Vandello, and welcome once again to Graphically Novel. My name is Josh Wasta, a.k.a. Fallout Fieri, and with me, as always, is my Steve, my never ends this way, never ends this way too, my family of me. It's Bear.
Wow.
Oh.
That could have been so much worse.
It could have been so much worse.
I almost forgot.
Oh.
He is my cookie!
Yeah, so that makes for the perfect quote that I was going to say is, when you say it, you make it sound all icky and stuff. And with us, our cookies, the lovely and talented Miss Jennifer Howland.
Thank you very much, Bear. And it's my distinct pleasure to introduce our guests. And this time we have, Ken and Reegan. We're very excited to have you both with us today for Over the Hedge.
Thanks for having us. We're really excited to do this.
Hello. Hello. So this season we have, in addition to me being nice to Bear, as opposed,
Which has been creepy all season.
It is.
he has
It's super
decided
creepy.
it's worse somehow. We also chose all of our guests instead of just putting kind of our list of these are the things that we're doing. And the two of you came up immediately from Jen.
Yep.
When we were talking about Over the Hedge. So I'll let Jen.
Well, okay. Number one, I miss you guys.
We definitely miss you guys too. We kind of just miss human interaction at this
Yeah,
point.
it's true.
Yeah.
But
It's
especially you guys, we're all the kindred spirits and all that stuff. It's been rough not having anybody around and not being able to spend time with people who make us laugh and love the most.
Absolutely. And you're
we've
so
only-
far, but yet so close.
Right.
Close.
Yeah. You guys are only like
I drive by your
3
house
blocks.
once a week or every day.
Same,
and
same.
Yeah, we've only seen you guys once during the pandemic for 30 seconds when we were driving back past, and I was like, hey, we have an extra bottle of rum. Let's go give them rum.
It was well appreciated. I promise you that.
Excellent.
Well, and that just lets you know you are loved if he's willing to share his rum.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, and we already knew that. But then as soon as I got that bottle, I'm like, damn, they really like us.
Exactly.
So the other reason you
The
brought
other
them on.
reason is we have loads of friends. We have loads of friends that love many things, but you two in particular are our kind of our hearts as far as animals are concerned. And
We've definitely become animal people in many
Yes.
or most people's eyes. I think that meet us. Probably the zoo at the house is what has done it for most.
but
you
it's also your love of it's not just animals. It's you're willing to take on the animals that other people probably wouldn't, and I appreciate that very much.
You're also who we go to when, like, just recently, we've gotten a new dog, and we're like, oh my God, it keeps attacking. The 48-pound dog keeps attacking our 8-pound dog.
Yeah, but the key is she's trainable.
Yeah.
most women are.
Yeah.
How nice. Oh, that's
You're
awesome.
not wrong.
That's usually me getting in trouble. Ken, you're welcome anytime. So one question we ask every one of our guests the first time that they're on is what their history with comic books is. The idea of this show is if you are familiar with a piece of media that came from a graphic novel, we're going to introduce you to the graphic novel. So what is your history with comic books?
Where'd you start? How did it happen? Where did it all come from?
I used to read the Calvin and Hobbes.
Ah, it's nice.
Like the big thick books, and
Yeah.
you'd get them at the book fair in elementary school, and I had all of them. And that's probably, other than like reading the comic strips in the paper, those are the only comic books or the things that I would consider a comic book.
I think I have 3 of them in my bookshelf right now.
Yeah.
I actually think the last time when you were dropping off tomatoes one time, you noticed them in my bookshelf and commented on them.
Probably.
Reegan?
I really don't have a lot of experience with graphic novels, especially. I always read the comic strips in the newspaper when I was growing up because my grandpa would grab the newspaper. He'd hand me that little slice of it, and that was mine. But other than that, I haven't experienced a lot of comic strips, comic books, anything like that. But I've always enjoyed the dry comedy that has a tendency to come out of it. So
Yeah.
Well, and that's
Absolutely.
perfect because, as Jen mentioned today, was Over the Hedge, which was an animated movie that came out 2009, 2008.
2006. I think.
2006.
Was it 2006?
Yep.
Damn. I know I saw it in the theater. But it is based off of a comic strip. And this is the first time we will actually be doing a show for a comic strip until the season finale of this season, where we'll be doing the Addams Family.
Can we say that? Because did Archie originally start in a comic strip? Because we did that back in like season 1.
I don't know that Archie started in a comic strip, but we haven't done like...
We weren't doing as much research then as we're doing now.
Also true. Also very true. No, because we also haven't done like Dick Tracy started in
That's
the
true.
comic
Yep.
strip.
Yep.
Those kind of things. But a lot of people their introduction to the idea of graphic novels or comics in general is the either the everyday funnies or especially the Sunday funnies, which were in color. And Calvin and Hobbes is a great example of that.
Right.
What do you have?
I brought stuff for the episode.
What did you bring to the
Oh, no.
I brought
episode?
stuff for the episode.
Did you bring a little red wagon?
No, I didn't. That was going to be a little bit much. I brought it in a little black bag though.
Oh, okay.
Chex Mix.
So like Chex Mix.
Oh,
you brought
no.
junk food.
I got cookies.
Yeah, cookies.
I got cookies.
Oh my god.
I got jerky.
Oh my god.
I got the spuddies.
Oh my god, he got the
I
spuddy.
brought-
he's the
I brought-
snack man.
Brought
You guys
this spuddy.
got
And this
lucky
is just
right
for this
there.
episode. We don't normally feed
No.
Josh snacks on the episode
'Cause he
will-
dies.
He dies.
Yes.
Oh, and
Nuts.
nuts.
Oh,
Nuts.
yeah, I can't have any.
You
nuts.
can't have
Nuts.
nuts. He'll die.
Yeah. So there was an
Other side,
episode,
baby.
the Joker episode that we were doing, where we had nuts on the table and a nut skin got caught in my throat and I almost died on it.
a nut skin got caught in your throat, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't mine. It
Uh-huh.
wasn't mine. I swear.
Wasn't mine either. So does that mean we need to call you RJ?
I mean, if you want, either that or whatever. What was the bear's name again?
Vern.
There you go, Vern.
The turtle.
No, that's the turtle.
Turtle
Sorry.
was Vern.
The
Vincent
bear.
was the bear.
Vincent. There you go.
Yeah,
Vincent.
Nick Nolte.
Vincent. Yeah. Also,
All right.
can we?
I will not have full mouth and crunching throughout
Okay.
this episode.
No.
So I think that brings us into this fucking all-star cast. How the fuck did they get all of these people on this ridiculous movie? Seriously.
After reading through a bit of the comics, it doesn't really surprise me all that much. I
Mhm.
mean, Steve Carell, of course. Why
Mhm.
would he turn this down? It's an
Right.
opportunity for a lot of humor that really suits him. So I think that it was probably something to be sought after for some of them at least.
Right. No, absolutely. And there were a lot of people that turned down this movie. Like Adam Sandler was originally going to be RJ.
Really?
Yeah. There was a ton of, but yeah, let's just for people who
You want me to
are
run through the
wondering
cast?
Yeah, run through the
Okay.
cast.
So RJ, Bruce Willis. Vern, Gary Shandling. Hammy was Steve Carell. Stella was Wanda Sykes. Ozzy was William Shatner. Vincent, as we mentioned, was Nick Nolte. Dwayne was Thomas Hayden Church.
Yep.
Allison Janney was Gladys.
Love
Eugene
her.
Levy was Lou. Catherine O'Hara was Penny. Avril Lavigne was Heather. And then it kind of gets into people that I don't really know. So Omid Djalili was Tiger. Sammy Kirkpatrick was Bucky, child actor.
So the person that did the Persian cat, which you just brought up, is a Persian actor.
Oh,
That's
nice.
the kind
That's
of the
nice.
icing on the cake there. Pretty awesome that they didn't just go the Abu route and have, some white guy do the voice. They actually found a Persian actor.
That's
Brian
that's
Stepanek
dedication.
was Nugget the dog.
What's that?
Brian Stepanek
I don't know who that is.
was the dog.
Okay. I don't know who Brian Stepanek. I know who the dog is.
I'm trying to think of stuff that he's in. I mean, I remember seeing him on kids shows. He was on Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
He was on Young Sheldon, Green Books,
I
The
haven't-
Loud House. Yeah, lots of NCIS, but yeah, lots of kids shows.
Yeah.
which kind of pegs me as a mom, I guess.
So,
well,
yeah, and there were a ton of people, but the thing that kills me watching it again is I am a huge fan of a little known shitty movie called Hudson Hawk. And Bruce Willis.
How dare you?
Bruce Willis
How
stars
dare
in
you
Hudson
call it
Hawk.
shitty?
And there are parts with a golf bag and a pocket fisherman, of which RJ uses throughout all of Over the Hedge. So I have to feel like the people that did Over the Hedge, once they knew they had Bruce Willis, were like, okay, it's going to be a spiritual successor.
Okay, so now since we were just watching the movie Sins about Over the Hedge, I
Yeah.
kind of want to tell the movie Sins guy that he needs to do more research before he starts saying what is and is not a sin.
No, well, okay. I sat in on at a C2E2 with the Cinema Sins guys, and when they write stuff, like half of it is just to be funny and half of it is actual sins.
Oh, understandable. But I'm just like, I just watched them go through and I was only half paying attention, but they went through 8 sins about a golf bag and the what did you just call it?
The pocket fisherman?
The pocket fisherman. And
Ron Popeil.
never once mentioned Hudson Hawk. So there's
It's
a movie
true.
sin on their part. Ding.
It's true. Yes. Not mentioning Hudson Hawk.
Yeah.
It's a sin.
We're gonna keep opening stuff so we make less noise later.
Yeah. Well, it's also a lot of crunchy stuff. So
Yeah.
are these soft cookies?
No, they're crunchy cookies.
I'm sorry, we should have left a package on your
Right?
front porch.
This was kind of a last minute surprise. I totally didn't even think about it, and I didn't realize you guys were that close. So otherwise, I would have totally dropped stuff on
Oh,
you.
good.
there are enough snacks in this house probably to feed an army.
We went to
So
Costco. It's fine.
Nice. Well, and also you can tell that Bear does not do the editing for these shows.
Right?
He's
No,
like,
I
look at all the
Look at all
crunchy
the
shit.
crunchy shit. No, I actually bought it all because I knew that would bug the fuck out of him later. Like Chex Mix, cashews, crunchy cookies. The only thing that's you might not notice that we're chewing on is the bag of jerky.
Whoops.
Yep. Yeah, that
it
is
sounds
literally
as
the
though he
only
just
thing.
likes crunchy things.
I mean, I normally do, not when I'm recording. So the first person that they wanted for Vern, the turtle, was Gene Wilder.
Oh yeah.
And they
Oh,
said, who had already started to do his I'm sitting in my house and I'm not doing anything. But the originally they wanted Bill Murray and Harold Ramey for RJ and Vern.
Oh my God, that would have been hysterical.
it would have absolutely. Gotta love
yeah.
Bill Murray.
Yeah, apparently this whole thing kind of got passed around Hollywood for a while.
With how successful it ended up being, it's kind of surprising to me that people turned it down, especially because it was like if they were presented with what was written, the script and all the dialogue, well, like that, it just surprises me that people would turn that up or turn that down because
Was it a DreamWorks production?
It was, yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't. It was a big label. It
that,
wasn't-
Yeah. It was in fact the only DreamWorks production to be based on a comic strip at that point.
Interesting.
really, huh?
Mhm.
Well, and the comic was actually in the late 90s super popular. It was one of the
See, that's weird because apparently I just never read the paper in
Yeah.
the late 90s
Yeah,
or in
neither
the
did I.
90s at all
Yeah.
because I had never heard of this before the movie came
But it
out.
Yeah.
very distinctly reminded me of everything Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah.
So it must have been something competitive with them.
Yeah.
Because
well, you know that they were saying that they were adroit in what they were saying because my dad used to clip it out and mail it to me.
Yeah, I mean, so we looked at basically on the web, you can find a bunch of different comic strips of Over the Hedge. The one that I've had since the movie came out was apparently the one that was available at the time to get as a book, and that's Stuffed Animals, which I think is the 4th volume. But in this, I mean, like Vern gets addicted to catnip in one of the stories that they go through, and they deal with RJ being addicted to reality TV
Mhm.
in like a big storyline in this. And I mean, it's a lot of making fun of humanity, pretty much.
I was actually really entertained by the dating one, being a single guy trying to date during the time of COVID. I'm just like, this is actually very funny.
Yeah. Well, they were just, making fun of and pointing out the foibles of popular culture.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Still wanting to be part of it though as animals, which is so entertaining to me. Just the
Mhm.
thought of animals themselves living so similarly to us. Or like I read through a little bit of them, and one of the comics was of the animals using mind control basically on humans.
Yeah.
They were like whispering in his ear at night about ho-hos and ding-dongs and about how there was a sale at the grocery store, and then all of a sudden the wife or the husband comes home with a bunch of ho-hos and ding-dongs, and the wife gets pissed and throws them all out. And then these animals have this like treasure trove of hundreds of packages of Hostess cakes, and that just tickles me. They're like, they make fun of it in such a lighthearted way, but then they also so badly like so quickly have like taken up all of the little things that honestly we do to each other or that others do to us. So that one tickled me. A couple of the political ones tickled me, but that one especially, I think, got me.
Well, and that specific comic, I was really amused with because so my brother is 3 years younger than I am, and around the time that both of us like were working, like not working, but like high school jobs, but you have your own money. We discovered the Hostess shops that were much more prolific at that time, and they would have like snack cakes for like 20 cents a snack cake, and you would go in and hand them $5 and like walk out. We used to call it bag of cake. Like we would show up places and be like, bag of cake, because we had 20 different snacks in a bag.
Ooh,
so
now I want to do a bag of popcorn.
Oh yeah, the bag of popcorn's a little different.
A little different story.
That's drinking during a movie in the theater and citing the bottle afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, the company closed down. That's why they went away. But
Right.
I remember, again, mom card, when my babies were smaller, they were also not just snack cakes, but like bread and like
yeah,
absolutely.
Stuff you needed every day. And the really
Is there
nice.
still one down on 6th Street here in town in
No.
Cedar Rapids? There used to be.
Yeah.
There used to be a Hostess store down there.
Well,
It was
Hostess went out of business.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, but it had
Yeah.
miscellaneous other things there too.
Yeah.
But
Right.
still,
yeah. Same with over next to Marion.
But yeah, it was definitely a good place to get cheap food.
Processed
We had
snack
one-
food material.
No, bread, like things you needed to eat every day, not, not snack
Like a
cakes.
tiny little drugstore that has all of the things that you don't remember at the grocery store. So you have to walk to the corner store and grab a loaf of bread or a gallon of milk or
Yep,
what have you.
exactly.
We had a few
Right.
of those in the town I grew up in, but I remember like being young and being able to go and buy like a couple dollars worth of bubble gum for some reason. That was my thing. I liked the snacks and stuff like that, but Bubblicious, the double bubble, all that stuff, and it was so cheap. And I think about that every day. Like I can't go to the store and get just a single piece of bubble gum anymore. If I wanted
Right.
to do that, I have to go to a little candy shop that's, I don't know, like niche in like Illinois or some shit
Charges
like that.
you by the
So-
pound, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, there is the one, if you're looking for one, there's a candy store down on, 2nd Street and 3rd Avenue, right on the corner where the
It's
Paramount
near the
is.
Paramount, yeah.
That's further down.
Yeah.
It's like
It's next door to the Paramount.
No, it is literally like on the corner
Yeah.
with the Paramount.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's a little niche
used to be a
candy
Fanny
store.
Farmer.
Yeah, and they have all kinds of great little candy in there. So if you're looking,
That's good to know. Do they have moon cakes?
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah.
do?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
It was the only place in Cedar Rapids I found mooncakes. The only other place was in Waterloo.
The last time I got a mooncake was when I think we were in like Chicago or something, and we went to a little candy shop and I saw mooncakes and I bought like 10 of them because
Right?
I hadn't seen them in so long. I think I ate them in a couple of days though.
Like a
So
marshmallow tree.
Yeah.
Yes.
like cookie and then marshmallow in the middle and then covered
Yeah.
in chocolate, or you could get the ones that were like covered in like butterscotch or something.
And banana.
And banana. Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Diabetes in a bag.
I don't know what you're talking
Yes.
about at all.
Although when we go and visit Jen's family down in Arkansas, the first time I see a Jack in the Box, I am pulling off of the highway.
Yeah, the kids are like, oh, crack taco.
Crack tacos. 2 for $1 crack tacos.
Did I tell you about when I went down to try and get my superpowers?
Yes.
Yeah, I had an order from people at work. They're like, "There's a Jack in the Box in that town. You're gonna go there. Just bring us like a bag full." And they handed me like $50, and we're like, "We just want Jack in the Box tacos."
Yep.
And I tried some while I was there, and I'm like, I don't get it. I'm having them fresh, and I just
You had to be
Did you have
poor
them, did you have
and
them,
disenfranchised
wait.
at the right time in your life.
But did you
Okay.
just have the taco or did you have them fry them?
Oh, they were fried.
Okay.
Right. Because
They
they
were-
were
It's a fried taco, the whole
Yeah,
thing.
so they
Yes, they make
take-
the taco.
I'll let him
And then
explain.
they dip the taco in the fryer grease. And then
With
they
all
wrap
the-
it.
With all
Yes.
the toppings and everything.
Yes, with all the
Everything.
toppings and everything.
And
Lettuce and everything.
Then they
Oh
give
my
it to you.
god.
I don't know, man.
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm super intrigued though. Like if we drove past a Jack in the Box, I would probably stop and be like, "They have fried tacos. I have to try one because
That-
that for some reason just sounds oddly delightful."
Uh-huh.
I had to
Anything
try
fried
it while I was there. It did not appeal to me, but like they paid me good money to bring them back tacos.
You gotta bring them fried tacos. Absolutely.
And they were day old fried tacos, and they were still
Gross.
like, "This is awesome."
Yep.
Gross.
You know,
man.
Dude, but I did that with White Castle when we were
Oh,
driving
yeah.
back from
Oh.
God, I think it was Missouri. My dad and I went down to Missouri and was it Minnesota? We went to Minnesota and we were driving back, and my dad, he always got these from like the grocery store. They were White Castle burgers that you
Mhm.
could like put in the oven and
Yeah.
heat up, and
Yep.
we had them every once in a while just when my dad didn't feel like fucking like cooking or whatever. But we stopped at White Castle, and my dad, and it was only because of those stupid movies. What was it? Harold and Kumar.
Harold and
Yeah,
Kumar.
White
Harold and
Castle.
Kumar.
And I remember stopping and like eating the food and being like, "This is like artery clogging shit." Dude.
Yeah.
It was. It's so bad.
Now,
Oh,
when he
man, I
ordered,
could've-
when he got it for you, did it come in a briefcase?
No, in the crave case.
Because they call it a crave case.
It's a box.
It
with
is
a handle.
25 sliders that come.
No, it was 30. Just
30.
remember the
You're right.
line?
30
Remember the
pieces
line
of
you
slider,
said to
yes.
Micah? You're like, "Oh my god!" Micah was like crying. I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be eating this.
Shut up and eat your 30 pieces of slider.
Dude, that's astounding because I think like we each got our own like meal or whatever, and they came with like 3 or 4 sliders a piece or something. But thinking about eating
Kind of
30 of those, that makes my heart hurt just a little bit, and not
So-
because it makes me sad, because like I could feel my arteries clogging as I was
Yeah,
eating
no,
it.
seriously. It's called a crave case, and they still look at you weird when you order it. Like they're like, "Are you serious?"
Are
so
you sure you want to do that?
Yeah, we've got 3.
You obviously were not in Illinois.
I'm sorry, we had
Four
four
people.
30-something dudes in a minivan
At 1 o'clock in the morning,
at 1 o'clock in the
The
morning.
proper time.
Yes.
driving back to Iowa from the Twin Cities.
From an Amp Guard event. And Micah was like, "No, we're not doing this. No, we're not doing this." And then he says, what did he say?
He said, if for one reason or another, because he wasn't feeling well and he was in the back of the car.
Yeah, he
and
wasn't
had to
driving.
drive.
It was his car.
He said, we have to stop for gas if for some reason we see a White Castle. We happen to drive past it between here and there.
On the way to gas.
I will pay for it. And so I purposefully waited for an exit where I saw a White Castle sign. And we went and I was like, oh, you got to pay for it. And 4 dudes, one of which who was not feeling well, in a car driving down the highway, killed 30 sliders in 5 minutes.
Was it 5?
Yeah.
No, it was because we decided to time it.
And then you had to be in the car together for
4 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours was the right amount of time, though, because it really didn't affect us.
Yeah, because everybody fell asleep, so everybody's metabolism slowed down. And it was just me and Josh trying to jam out to Imagine Dragons to keep
It
ourselves
wasn't
awake.
Imagine Dragons.
I
would drag. I can deal with Imagine Dragons. It was horrible.
Well,
is what
it was all the rest of the awful country, but we kept flipping through it to get to the Imagine Dragons that he had on the playlist.
Yeah, I remember White Castle when I was young, very young, as being a staple because you could get a single burger for like 20 cents.
I'm sure you still could if you asked.
So yeah, So growing up, what was your disgusting fast food?
My disgusting fast food?
If we're talking, because I can tell you, if we're following the Over the Hedge theme, every morning I would stop at QT and I would get a 2-liter Mountain Dew and I would get Da Bomb taco or burrito, the red hot, like super long burrito.
Uh-huh.
That was my breakfast every day in high school.
And see, I didn't have, like, I grew up in a rural area. Like, I had to drive 20 miles, from what was it, 7th grade on, had to drive 20 miles to go to school. And the town that I went to middle school and high school in was only a town of about 2,500 to 3,000 people. So, like, usually, we would, always have big stocks of groceries at home, obviously. And, like, breakfast for me was like a can of Coke and a Snickers bar. And as soon as I was out of sight of the yard, it was usually a cigarette, driving into school in the morning. So I didn't have real serious like fast food, junk food around until I got to college. And then it was stuff here. And it was exactly that. It was Da Bomb burrito. It was, I fell in love in college with gas station hot dogs like nobody's business.
And I grew up eating Casey's freaking pizza, breakfast pizza. And like before I even was introduced to Casey's breakfast pizza, we had R&R is what it was called in the town that I grew up in Central City. It was just like a small gas station that I know that they were trying to mimic a lot of the surrounding gas stations, but they had some of the best freaking breakfast pizza or like pizza itself. And now thinking about it, I'm like, it probably wasn't that good. I was just like,
right.
we were kind of like Bear. Like if we had groceries, Mom was like, we have groceries.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, in a blue moon, we'd get this breakfast pizza from R&R, and I was like, this is the shit. And then I found Casey's, and it was cheaper. And I'm like,
our gas station stuff was called Hot Stuff Pizza. I don't know if anybody else had Hot Stuff Pizza. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we had.
Well, my morning routine was, I know this will shock you, but it was black coffee and a cigarette. I had to drop my sister off, but once I dropped her off at the elementary school, I would light a cigarette, and I had and this was, before to-go cups were kind of a thing. So I had a mug of coffee driving a stick shift.
Oh no! So
I remember when cigarettes could substitute for food.
Exactly. Like when I was driving to school, it was literally like, because neither of my two siblings that were younger than me cared. It was me driving the two of them to school, and I am literally like a can of Coke in one hand, a Snickers bar in the other hand, driving a 3-speed manual on the tree to school.
That would have been a little bit easier.
It actually was. Then on the floor, it was much easier. But then I was lighting my cigarettes with a match, still had everything in my hands.
Yeah.
Like that was the stupid shit that I used to do.
Oh yeah, no, I would do that kind of. But talking about no food, and this wasn't because I didn't want to eat, because I love to eat. I always have. But when I was in high school, I was so busy doing things. Like I would drink like my coffee. I'd have my coffee on the way to school. I only drank 1 cup of coffee when I was in high school. It's amazing. I had my coffee.
Like 1 cup, but it's like this.
No, it was just a mug. I'd have 1 cup of coffee and a cigarette. I'd drop my sister off at school. I would douse myself in like Wind Song or some other lame ass perfume to cover the smoke.
The theater made a perfume?
No, that was Bod.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway.
Remember the commercials?
And then lunch was, we had open campus. So you could go wherever you wanted to, but I was always so busy doing stuff, whatever. And so lunch, again, I'm aging myself. Diet Coke was a new thing, and I was fucking addicted to Diet Coke. So I always had a Diet Coke at lunch, if not 2. And then a lot of times lunch was a Diet Coke and a candy bar. It's so sick.
It's so sick. Trying to live off of what we lived off of when we were young.
Oh, God,
I feel like I would die.
I mean, think about it. Not only was I not eating, but I would have like a full dinner. Like we would have dinner as a family. But the metabolism of a 17-year-old and the amount of calories I was taking in, it was no wonder. Like one of my boyfriends said that I look like a toothpick with two grapefruits. I was so thin. It was ridiculous.
I was never thin, unfortunately. I've always been well endowed in every area of my body. But at one point I was more fit than I am now. And thinking about that, like I still ate pretty decently, but I just ate more sugar and more shit than I do now. Just not as often because I also was really busy when I was in high school. I remember like I lived a half an hour away from school when I was in high school. So I was like, I'd get home at 11:30 after work, and then I'd have to get up at 4:00 in the morning to go to band practice and all this other stuff.
Oh,
but
I'm there with you, sister. Like,
yeah.
You know, you're
6
there
in the morning drinking a Monster, and that's
Yep.
all you have until like 11:30. And then you have what the school was. Well, we didn't have open campus or anything, but what the school offered was, you know, mostly shit food. So I'd end up eating like a slice of Pizza Hut pizza and some carrots, and that was it. And you know, and then half the time I didn't eat dinner because I was at school practicing or doing something other. So like,
not only did you have band,
by all means, but
not only did you have band before school, you had band after school too.
Right.
Band after school. I had choir, speech, show choir, like anything that was arts related that I could find I was part of, which in hindsight probably wasn't always the best idea. But I always had a good time. It just like I still do it to myself to this day. Like we still burn ourselves out and are busy as we could possibly be. And I'm like, you'd think I would have learned after 15 years of doing this? No, it never ends.
I have news for you. It doesn't end ever.
And you know, I've just come to terms
you're
with
not
that.
helping.
I'm sorry. I'm speaking from experience. It's once you have established that as how you do things in your life.
You're not allowed, once you finish your master's degree, you're not allowed to take any more school for at least 5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
Hey.
5 years.
5 years. You need a fucking
Don't
break.
put any chains on her brain.
That's a lot of time.
You need a fucking break.
I can take a break. I'm getting a break. All summer I have off. I have like 2 months off.
Right.
Yeah, so I could not eat the stuff that teenage me ate because teenage me did not know what diverticulitis was. 40-year-old me is very well acquainted with it. So, yeah.
40-year-old me looks at 20-year-old me and goes, listen, all this carbonated shit you're drinking now is going to kill you.
Yeah, no shit.
20 years from now, you're going to be like walking around with a box of baking soda everywhere going, oh no, I don't know if I can have that.
Oh no, mistakes
it's
have been made.
It's carbonated, yeah.
So to pull us kicking and screaming back to Over the Hedge.
We're not that far off, though.
No, it's true.
We're all like a bunch of little, like, you know, rodents running around. We're all trying to get a nut, right?
That's true. Or a cookie.
A cookie.
Yeah.
There's cookies in front of you.
That's true. They are crunchy.
Yes.
So
listen, I was gonna bring energy drinks, but I figured that'd be way too much for as late as night as this.
No, because I
absolutely
I was absolutely hammy in high school where I could not have energy drinks. Like I had my Mountain Dew and that was about it because my God, growing up ADHD, yeehaw.
Yeah, energy drinks weren't a thing when I was younger, and when they came around, I tried one, and I was like, "That's disgusting. I don't
make
need
your
that.
heart hurt.
Give me coffee. I'm old school. Just give me coffee."
The first energy drink I remember was called Nos. Okay, it was called fucking Nos.
It's still around.
It is.
Tasted, it tasted like shit. It was awful.
It tastes like pixie sticks.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it tasted like pixie sticks and something else. Like there had to have been cocaine or some shit in that because it was not good. And I remember drinking one once because I was young and everybody else was drinking them. So they offered me one and I was like, sure, let's drink one. And I had never really had anything like that before. So I was really ready to go, and like 1:00 in the morning rolls around and I'm like, I can't turn this off. What the fuck is going on? So but now I could drink an energy drink and it doesn't do a damn thing to me, not even a little bit.
Yeah, same with I can drink coffee before bed and have absolutely no issue.
You guys are crazy.
It's really more the sugar for me than it is the caffeine. Like if I have too much, like right now I'm having like a whiskey and Coke. I will have like, this is my 1 20-ounce Coke that I'm gonna have today. Like I will have maybe 3 sodas in a week. I have much more than that, and my stomach instantly has issues just from the sugar alone.
That's this one. Ken's like sugar addicted, but it's probably poison for them. And they don't seem to care, you know, after like
I cut
20 years
I cut
of
out
it?
the dairy, I cut out the meats. Like I want to eat some fucking sugar. I just really
and then you know, a churro comes around and you're like, fuck.
no self-control, man. No self-control.
Right. Oh yeah, I mean fried dough covered in sugar. What? Come on.
You can't go wrong. You just can't go wrong.
Well, frankly, you could just leave the sugar off, and this is the fried dough.
I
am in.
That's how I am.
Sweet
like,
chili sauce or some hummus.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds delightful.
Yeah.
Right?
No, we are not your friends if you're trying to be, you know.
If you're on a diet, this is the wrong people to be talking to.
Oh, definitely not a diet. Like if somebody offers me a fried like pastry of any sort, I'm probably going to eat it.
Right.
So going and seeing Over the Hedge in the theater when it was there, the first thing that hit me, and I remember it very distinctly. I was in a theater and it had been running for a while, so it must have been like a second run. And I was like one of 3 people in the theater. But the first song started and I recognized it was Ben Folds, and started my pitter patter. And back before I had the you know, because there were only 3 people in the theater, pulled out my phone and texted my friend Amanda Keith, and I was like, did you know Ben Folds, there's a song in Over the Hedge? And she just responded with, the entire soundtrack is Ben Folds, buckle in. So because we were going to see him like 6 months later in Iowa City. So that was one of the things we watched again last night, and like I just sit there and I bop along to it, because what a fantastic idea to have, you know, Ben Folds do your soundtrack. And then I researched it and found out he was actually tied into a record contract that he was trying to get out of, and he had to do 5 dedicated albums, and at that point Rockin' the Suburbs had come out, and basically the studio was like, well, we want you to do a soundtrack, and he was like, he basically made it so that soundtrack would count as one of his 5 that he had to do, one of his albums. So
why not?
Yeah, which is why he sounds super happy in it, because he's like, I'm getting out of this sooner.
This is 20% of the shit done I have to do.
Yay.
Right? But I just wanted to make sure that we discuss Ben Folds, because love me some Ben Folds.
Okay. I remember hearing Ben Folds the first time. I think it was in high school. When I first heard him, and I don't remember what song it was, but my friends were just obsessed, and it was something wholly new to me. And I also came from a really small town where like there wasn't a whole lot of people talking about new music and stuff like that. We were pretty much a bunch of hicks that listened to a lot of country music and maybe some classic rock here and there. So going to a big school like that was kind of new. And like hearing Ben Folds for the first time, I was like, oh, there's good music out here that I have never been introduced to. And he was probably one of the first that I listened to at Manchester that was like, holy shit, there's a whole new world of music out here that I've never seen or heard before. And I love it.
That's funny, because for me, that was Tori Amos in the mid-90s, and
which you hung on to,
which I have
for like decades.
Yes, I have. And in fact, I'd heard of Ben Folds 5 and I knew like Brick, but the first time I ever heard Ben Folds, he was in concert with Tori Amos in the Twin Cities.
Now it comes out.
There was a tour.
That's the reason.
Yeah. There was a tour called the A Lot of Pianos tour, where both of them had their own pianos and they were doing their thing, and he opened for her. And you know, I've been hooked on him ever since. So
that had to be an astounding show.
Well, yes.
Have Ben Folds open for Tori Amos, and I'm sure they played together at one point or another.
Yep, couple different. And then there was like one song where I think it was Blood Roses that Tori does on the harpsichord, but she basically straddled her piano bench, had one hand on the piano, one hand on a harpsichord, and was playing them both.
Oh, damn.
Like Hello, Spock. I don't know what the cat's actual name is, but he's wearing blue, so it looks like a Star Trek uniform.
He has pointy ears.
And he has pointy ears.
This pretty
Racist.
kitty. It's a very pretty kitty.
This is the naked kitty.
Oh, yeah.
Hence
Her
the
name's
sweater.
Divine.
Hence the sweater. Yes,
Yeah.
he definitely needs one.
We have a friend that has two.
Yes, Allison has 2 of them.
Oh, I'm sure that at some point we'll end up with another.
That's a cat you could be around.
That's true. It is, because I am allergic to cat.
Well, actually, I don't know.
Dander.
Do they do? I don't know this. Do hairless cats produce dander because they don't have hair?
They're oily.
Yeah, they don't produce as much dander because they have like their oil is like very much on their skin.
Mm-hmm.
So they're pretty moist little creatures.
Oh, well, they're like Yorkies.
Yeah.
Because Yorkies are like that too. They don't have fur, they have hair, and they don't have
Yep.
a lot of dander, and they have very oily skin as well. Now we're talking about the complexion of animals.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is an animal-centric kind
It
of
is
piece.
true.
It is.
And if Allison's listening, or I know Jason's listening, bringing up to Allison, her cats are also very moist, but they're kind of the ones that are like, I want to very violently love you. I want to jump up on your chest. I want to snuggle you. Oh my God, you're gonna snuggle, and then I'm gonna sneeze in your face.
Yes, so
We're
accurate.
familiar with the
So
sneeze.
accurate.
They're more allergic to us than we are to them.
Oh yeah, and she's just like a sniffly little creature, like just always. But she likes to violently rub her face against your face when she really wants attention.
When she wants food.
When she wants food, or like in the morning when she begs you to wake up, because apparently there's nothing else for a kitten to do early in the morning except for smack me, like wake up, wake up.
Yeah, that's
every morning.
That's what cats.
Apparently, the hairless ones also really enjoy beards. Like they will snuggle
Yes.
beards.
It's true.
Very much
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, that's what
Yep.
they go for.
Yeah, our friend Brandon is like, she'll come up to him and like get all up in his face, and he's not one for like having things right here necessarily, but it was really, really funny to see this like burly looking man look so lovingly at this kitten that's just like rubbing her
Aw.
face against his beard. Oh, it's just the cutest thing.
So, anybody else have any topics for Over the Hedge?
I mean, we haven't really hit much like on the actual plot line of any of it, aside from the fact that animals are cute and we're eating a lot of snacks.
Well, and there's not a whole lot of plot when you're talking about a comic strip. So,
Well, I think that primarily, I think that it's using animals to kind of point out the ridiculousness of popular culture,
Mhm.
and the movie really makes a point of showing how humans have just completely steamrollered nature.
yes.
And
Oh,
To the
100%.
point. Yeah, to the point where they can't abide even seeing a creature from nature in their environs. Like the idea of seeing a wild animal in your yard is so wrong.
Oh my
to
God, I
them.
live right on the
Yeah.
border of a forest and there's a
Right.
squirrel.
Yeah.
Or in
turtle.
our area, deer that decide. that
Yeah,
they're-
no, okay. And I do have to say that that's fucking weird. I mean, I came here from Chicago and I'm driving through the city of Cedar Rapids. I'm not like on the outskirts. I am in Cedar Rapids and like 3 deer just walk across the street in front of me. And I'm like, what the fuck?
They're neighbors.
Well, and I came from a place where like if you didn't see at least 3 deer before you got home, there was something the fuck wrong with what was going on in nature.
Absolutely.
So-
There's a bear.
Yes,
Hey,
yeah. So
what?
when I came to Cedar Rapids and like actually lived here, because my dad's lived here my whole life and I've visited frequently. But like when I came here, I was like, I don't really like living in the city. It's not my favorite thing to have all of the noise and sound pollution. I love seeing the stars. I love being surrounded by trees. And so when I came here and I was driving through town and a deer, I just like happened upon a deer at my side. I was like, it's a little piece of home. This is perfect. I'm okay with it now. Like we're good.
Listen, no, we're good. It's fine.
Although I shouldn't complain because no one will remember this, but in the early 2000s, there was a coyote that kept going into Subway stores. Like in the summer, they would have their door propped open, because it was hot.
Sure.
Yeah.
And there was a coyote loose in the city. And for whatever reason, this coyote preferred Subway because it would show up it would walk, just like saunter into
He
a
only
Subway.
had $5.
Yeah. But it was the craziest thing because, of course, the employees of the shop would like close themselves up in an office in the back because it's a wild animal in an enclosed space. You don't want to approach it. But it happened.
Excuse me, can I get some service?
Right.
Wiener White had to have been the smell of that Italian and cheese bread.
Right.
That's right.
I
want my BMT.
I went home smelling like that like every shift, every weekend. I smelled like it for like 2.5 years when I worked there in high school. And if that doesn't bring out any wild creature that like what?
Did you have a lot of random like teenage boys following you home?
Yeah, and not be like, oh my god, that smells amazing. Let's go.
Right.
But after 2.5 years of smelling like it, I don't even like to go into Subway anymore because I leave there and I smell like it. Like,
yeah,
nope.
Can't blame you. Can't blame you. But I mean, I think that's the perfect. That's like Over the Hedge come to life.
Absolutely.
The coyote trying to get. It's like
Italian herbs and cheese cold cut combo. 12-inch.
I want a foot long. Give me a foot long.
Extra meat and cheese.
Can you imagine though if that was actually what was going through his head at the time and he's like, what the fuck, guys? Why the fuck aren't you out here? Make me a goddamn sandwich.
Right.
That sounds like absolutely an Over the Hedge strip.
Oh god, that'd be so entertaining.
You could rate that. There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
So Ken and Reegan, having watched the movie, having been through the show, you get a newspaper randomly because for some reason newspapers are still a thing. You get the comic section. Are you flipping right to Over the Hedge?
I didn't know that this was a comic strip until you told me it was a comic strip. I'm not gonna lie about that. I thought that I loved the movie because of the fact that I've always been like a super lover of animals. And I honestly have not much to research a lot of the things that I watch. I'm just like, oh, I enjoyed that. So when you told me that, I was like, no fucking way. This is a comic strip. But now that I have learned about that, absolutely. If I know that that's where I'm going to find it, then fuck, I'll go buy a Sunday paper like now.
Awesome.
All right. Ken, are you more likely to flip to an Over the Hedge comic now that we've discussed it for an hour?
I feel like I vaguely like remember it.
Yeah.
Now that I know it, and now that I'm reflecting being at my grandparents and reading the Sunday comics, I kind of remember it. But yeah, fuck yeah.
I kind of wish I had.
This also opens the door to do a Boondocks episode.
Yes.
Oh my god!
I remember watching that like when I was young and I had never seen Adult Swim, and I went to a friend's house and Boondocks came on, and I was like, "Oh wait, am I thinking the right one?"
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
With a
and
mouthy
it came
kid.
on, and I was like, "Am I supposed to be watching this?"
Right.
But as an adult, I've seen a few of them, and I'm like, "Okay, this." I wish that I had watched more of it. I still wish maybe we should.
Yeah. You want to start a ride? Just throw a folding chair. So, Bear?
I'm right there with Reegan. Like, I did not realize that this was a comic strip until we were sitting down to plan out the season. And you're like, are you shitting me? This was where? Because my comic strips back home, I pretty religiously read the paper for the comics. And it was like, it was Doonesbury, it was Calvin and Hobbes, it was
Rygar.
Garfield. What's Rygar?
Or Hagar. Hagar the
Hagar,
Barbarian.
yeah. Hagar the Horrible, yeah.
Rygar was the NES game.
Yeah, I was like, what? What are you talking about? Stuff like that. It was Family Circus. It was...
Which is the worst?
It was Garfield.
Family Circus fucking sucks. Yeah. It's never fun.
Yeah, no. What was the comic that was the little, like, it was like a cat and like a little cat and a little dog, and they were like best buds or something. I can't remember.
Oh, I can't remember the name of that one either.
No.
Mutts.
Mutts.
Yes.
Yeah.
I loved that comic so much. I remember doing an art piece of it when I was young because I just was in love with it. And there was just one that I thought, it was like, do you want to play Kitty? It was like the cat sitting up going, do you want to play Kitty? And I thought it was the funniest fucking thing in the whole world. And now I really want to read the comics just so that I can see what's going on with them.
There you go.
Yeah, no, seriously, I did not even realize that this was a comic strip. Is this currently still running?
No idea, because I didn't know it was running before.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I think it is because I saw when I looked it up today, there was like the comic of the day. And
well, for our listeners, if you know it's still running, send me shoot me a new comic strip. I want to see the new stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'd definitely keep reading if I knew it was going to be like, if I could go grab a Sunday paper and read some more of it. Yeah, hell yeah.
Jen?
Yeah, and I'm actually looking up another comic that I really loved because it was a different author. This reminds me a lot of Bloom County.
Mm-hmm.
Bloom County was a favorite of mine, and that was Berkeley Breathe. Really crazy. Bill the cat, the like cracked out cat.
See, I always confuse that with Doonesbury.
Same here.
Doonesbury was very well. Bloom County was political as well, but Doonesbury was like straight on like 60s political comic.
Yeah.
But Over the Hedge reminded me a lot of Bloom County, and I liked that. So yeah, I mean, we are not in an age that people have actual physical newspapers in their homes, sent to their homes anymore. I mean, I think my mother still does, but I think she only does that just as a community service.
Just to keep the business going.
Yeah, for the delivery person and the newspaper itself. But yeah, I don't think that, daily newspapers are a thing anymore, unfortunately.
Right. Which is, well, now we have like web comics, we have like PvP and things like that.
Red versus Blue.
Well, Red versus Blue. Is that still a web comic? That was a web series
for a while. It was never really a comic. It was always a series.
Yeah. So the one that I have is the 4th volume of 4. I do think I'm going to go back and get the first 3 because it belongs next to my Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a feel good kind of just, I don't feel like reading something heavy. I just kind of want to chuckle a little bit. So I'm just going to flip through.
But it's still making adroit commentary.
It's true.
On, at the time, popular culture.
Right.
It's light humor without being mindless humor. We all gotta love that.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's my CW shows.
That's another story.
That's for another episode, folks.
Or when I'm gonna go through my newest watch through of Dawson's Creek. That's my
I won't be there for that.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like a treat.
There you go. See?
No.
Oh,
see,
I guess I'll watch it by myself now.
Or Riga post-pandemic. You can come over. We'll open some wine. We'll watch The Creek together.
You two can watch that. The rest of us will go sit out in the backyard and smoke cigars and drink bourbon.
Hell yes.
Well, Reegan and Ken, thank you so much for joining us. This was a treat, and I'm glad that we could spend a little time in the pandemic. Hopefully we see the light at the end of the tunnel soon, and we can hang out.
That sounds lovely.
There's going to be a big damn parties this year.
Yeah.
There are going to be big damn parties this year.
Hopefully. I'm crossing my fingers heavy for that because
Halloween's just got to happen this year.
I know. This last year was so disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah. My WrestleMania party is instead going to be moved to the fall and be an AEW party because that's the better wrestling right now. So we'll bring that back, and a bunch of food and people who don't normally even watch wrestling just being in a room, hanging out, meeting new people. So
yeah,
it might have to be the return of my New Year's Eve parties too.
There you go. So yes, yeah.
Thank you so much for having us. Yeah. We had a great time. This was super fun. It's a first for me, but I'm super excited that you guys thought of us. So thank you.
Absolutely. So yeah, please tune in next time when we will be doing The Old Guard.
Yes.
Yeah, we had to we had to reschedule, but our friend with the other hairless cat,
also
Allison,
with the hairless cats, Allison,
the hairless cat named Bowie, will be joining us. But until then, take it away, Vandello.
Come with me, I'll tell a story that you might have heard before. Graphically novel, but the same old trouble. Villains always knocking at the door. Pretty pictures on the page, but nothing ever stays the same. Do 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 do. come at me. Now show you something you ain't never seen before. Right or wrong, oh can't we all just get along? My mask is no different than yours. Pretty pictures on the screen, but nothing's ever as it seems. Do 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 you don't want to see my